Hari Om. Let us today see the concepts of Dinacharya, Rutucharya, and Mitahara for the YCB level 2. The word Dinacharya. Dina is the day and Charya is the regime. So it means the regime which we should follow daily. So this routine recommendations are there to educate us to live a healthier, happier, and a longer life to avoid the diseases. So, this routine helps us in maintaining the balance and harmony in the body, and along with the nature, it also regulates our biological clock, and thus we can implement the healthy lifestyle. This discipline or this regime that we adopt in our daily routine, it also improves our self-esteem. It brings happiness and it also promotes the longer life. So let us start with the Dinacharya. The first thing is wake up at Brahma Muhurta. The original text, also this reference, we can also see this reference in yogic text and Ayurvedic text. Ayurveda recommends us to wake up early, and how much early? 96 minutes, that is 1 hour 30 minutes before the sunrise. This time is known as the Brahma Muhurta, and if actually you are not suffering from any diseases, or then only you have to wake up at Brahma Muhurta, and 96 minutes before means around 4:30 a.m. in the morning. If you cannot get up so much early, then you should at least try to wake up as early as possible or before the sunrise. In order to wake up early, you have to sleep early so that your sleep is completed. And to sleep early, you should have your dinner early. Next thing, you have to express some gratitude. You can just pray for few minutes, or you can sit quiet for 2 minutes. You can meditate for 1 to 2 minutes with a big smile on your face. So this thing is more essential for living a stress free life and improving your memory and intelligence. Next thing is evacuation or the mala visarjan. So after waking up, if you feel the urge for urination or the bowel evacuation, you have to follow your urge and evacuate your bowels or the urinary bladder. So in most of the people, it is the reflex action. It is the autonomic reflex uh, for emptying the bladder in the morning. So this urge should be commenced on its own, and do not force to evacuate your bowel. After evacuating the bowel and the urinary bladder, wash your hands and face with a normal tap water, and then after that you have to clean your teeth. The terminology here is Dantadhavan and the Jivha Nirlekhan. Dantadhavan, today mostly we all use toothpastes, but when this Ayurveda texts were written, using the plant twigs or the herbal powder for cleaning your teeth was recommended. Mainly the use of astringent and bitter and pungent stem twigs, or the toothpaste should have these tastes are recommended. Also, the tooth powders are available in market for cleaning your teeth. Then the next thing is Jivha Nirlekhan, or the cleaning of tongue, scraping of tongue. You should clean your tongue using the tongue scraper made up of copper or silver or gold, or whichever is available in the market today. Uh, Anjana is the thing. for the protection of our eyes and for the maintenance of our the health good health of our eyes. It also improves our vision. So collyrium is used as the anjan. This is to improve the health of eyes and not just for the cosmetic purposes. Next thing is nasya. Nasya process is mentioned in the Ayurveda text. So, Charak Samhita, it recommends us to put few drops of Anutaila or the pure cow ghee, 2 to 3 drops of cow ghee daily in our nostrils. So this process is called as the nasya or the nasal therapy. So you for this nasya you just have to sit back, lie down and sit back and tilt your head slightly back so that your nose opens towards the sky and put the 3 drops of pure cow ghee or the Anutela, or you can also ask your Ayurvedic physician to recommend a proper medicine for the purpose of nasya. In each nostril, you have to instill the drops of ghee and you just inhale it or sniff it deeply for 1 to 2 times. Then rest about for 5 minutes and that's it. Nasya is done. So this thing, Nasir, it's very much helpful in the prevention of diseases of eyes, ears, and nose. And if you take this Nasir on regular basis, it will help you to prevent white or gray hair or even the hair fall. It also promotes the hair growth. It improves the strength of your neck. It also provides nourishment to the blood vessels which are present above your shoulders. After Nasya, Gandush process is recommended. Gandush is the gargling or mouthwash. Medicated decoction which is prepared from the trifala is you have to hold it in your mouth for some time and then wash your mouth with the warm decoction. After this, Abhyanga or the oil massage is recommended. This oil massage is the self oil massage. This Abhyanga has got many useful effects. It reduces the Vata dosha, it promotes the strength of your body, it also improves the quality of your sleep, and it also increases the firmness of your body hair and it also boosts the growth in small children. It Abhyanga is said to improve the skin tone and that's why you should massage your body on daily basis. Uh, it this Abhyanga process is also useful in old age. For daily Abhyanga, you can use the sesame oil or this sesame oil it is good and it has got soothing and gratifying effect for the skin. Abhyanga should be done by yourself for about 15 to 20 minutes before bathing. After Abhyanga, exercise is recommended. Exercise is Vyayama. You can also do Yogasanas. Uh, Recently, we can see that our lifestyle has become sedentary and we are most of the people are suffering from the lifestyle disorders. And These lifestyle disorders are because of the sedentary lifestyle and unhealthy eating. Therefore, daily exercise is very important. Uh, Exercise or yogasanas improve your work capacity. This also produces lightness in your body and it also improves your appetite. Exercise reduces excessive fats in your body. Uh, Regular exercise helps us to prevent from the constipation or diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, and many other diseases. So you should exercise regularly. Let us move ahead with the Rutucharya. So this Rutucharya or the lifestyle, it is the routine to cope up with the changes that are caused on our body and the mental changes that are caused by the seasonal changes. So this is the Rutucharya. This Rutucharya enables us to build our physical strength and mental capability to fight with the seasonal changes and the diseases. Uh, Along with this, it balances all the three doshas of our body and keeps us fit and healthy throughout the year. So, according to this Rutucharya, a year is divided into two kalas. So before that, I would like to tell you that this Rutucharya is also explained in the yogic texts. Gheranda Samhita has this reference of Rutucharya. In the fifth Upadesh of Gheranda Samhita, we can find this Rutucharya, and yoga should be studied, or it should be commenced in the Vasanta and the Sharad Rutu. You might get this question in your multiple choice. So basically, a year is divided into two kalas, or the kal means the time period. Each time period comprises of three seasons. So which in turn means in one year there are six seasons in one year according to the Hindu calendar. So each season lasts for 2 months, and these seasons are precisely found in the Indian subcontinent. Means this Rutucharya is specially designed, or it is explained for Indian subcontinent. So first one is the Uttarayan or the Adan Kal. In this Uttarayan, there is the northward movement of the sun, and Shishira, Vasanta, and Grishma Rutus are explained in the Uttarayan. Uh, the body strength or the bala starts decreasing gradually in the Uttarayan. The next is the Dakshinayan Kal. In Dakshinayan, there is the descent of sun, or we can also say that the southward movement of sun is there. Uh, In this, the Varsha, Sharada, and Hemanta, three Rutus are included, and gradually the strength starts increasing in the Varsha Rutu. It starts increasing in the Dakshinayan. Now here is one concept of the Rutu Sandhi. Sandhi means joint. So the season change or the joining of two Rutus is known as the Rutu Sandhi time. Uh, Actually, Rutu Sandhi is the first 7 days, uh, the last and the first 7 days of the preceding and the upcoming seasons. This duration of 14 days is known as the Rutu Sandhi, or the juncture of two seasons. During this season, the regime mentioned for previous Rutu, it should be gradually withdrawn, and the regime for upcoming season should be adopted gradually. Regimes for each seasons or each six rutus are explained in the text. So the lifestyle changes, the dietary changes, both these things are explained for each season. If you suddenly withdraw or the previous regime, and if you suddenly adopt a new regime, then you might get a and you might be affected with the diseases that may occur during the season change. So you have to follow this Rutu Sandhi period very properly. Here we are getting introduced to the new concept. It is the Chaya, Prakopa, and Prashama. Uh, these are considered as dosha movements oc- occurring in different seasons due to the weather changes. Chaya, Prakop, and Prasham takes place in the doshas. So Chaya or Sanchaya, it means accumulation of doshas in its own seats. Means dosha gradually starts increasing in their own seats. Prakopa is it means aggravation of dosha in their own seats, means they starts increasing gradually, and disease manifestation is started. Uh, Dosha is already increased in its seat and it starts spreading all over the body. This is the Prakopa. And Prashama, it means the normal balanced state of doshas or auto-pacification of the doshas. Now, after Dinacharya and Rutucharya, we are going to study the concept of Mitahara or the diet concepts which are mentioned in the Ayurveda text. Here I have written HYP means Hatayo Pradipika, first Upadesh, and the verse number is 58. So the reference for this slide or this explanation you will find in this verse. So actually the yogic diet does not take calories into consideration. Yoga also does not say that consume this much of vitamins, this much of carbs, or this much of proteins, you will get so many nutrients. So, what does yoga emphasize? Instead of all these, yoga lays emphasis on the type and the quality of the food that we should eat. Uh, the nutrition which is obtained from food differs on the quality of the food that we consume. Uh, Mita and Ahara are the two words here. Mita is the moderate and Ahar is the diet. So yoga recommends moderation in the diet and whatever we drink. There was this beautiful sentence which I read some time ago. I still remember that sentence. I will like to tell you. It is said, or many a times yogis believe that you are what you eat, but this is not the case. It Yogis believe not only what you eat, it but also that you eat those foods which reflect your own level of mental and spiritual purity. So we just have to recall what types of food we take. So this Mitahara is the concept mentioned in Hatha Yoga Pradipika and Gheranda Samhita. 3 points are here. Susnigdha Madhura Ahara. Susnigdha means the sweet and oily foods. Oily, it does not literally mean oily food and the sweet food. Then what does it represent? It tells that the food which is fresh and it should has its taste intact in it. The it should have pleasant taste and it should not be dried, and it should contain some pure cow ghee. The diet which is in accordance with the that person's metabolism and that body type is the susnigdha and madhura ahara. Chaturthansha vivarjita means keeping one fourth of your stomach empty. It signifies that you should not overload the stomach. uh, Food should be consumed after offering to Lord Shiva. Bhujyate Shiva Samprityai Mitaharah Sa Uchyate. It should be ate after offering to please Shiva, uh, and then we should eat it as a prasad. Then after reading this sentence, I started to think why this is written here or why so. Then I read that the reason behind this is that we offer some appropriate things, or we offer good things to the people we love. So we should offer this sattvic diet, or the right diet, or the delicious food. So if we offer this to God, uh, the God will also give us it return as a prasad, and this prasad will keep our body and mind purified, and it will give us the good health in return. This is the concept of mitahara. There are also references of mitahara explained in the Gheranda Samhita. I have just mentioned here the reference numbers of the verses. You can read it from the texts whichever you have. Just note down the verse numbers and you can read it easily. After this, we are going to, there is the list given of the foods which are prohibited and which are recommended. Again, the verse numbers are given here. So, which foods are prohibited? Especially which taste bitter, excessively bitter, or spicy, or sour, or pungent food, or excessive salty, and more excessive hot foods are prohibited. Green leafy vegetables in more quantity are prohibited, and the rest of the list is given here. So these foods are does not count in the sattvic food types, and yoga recommends to consume the sattvic foods. Sattvic food increases our lifespan. It is the pure in nature. It gives us strength. It gives us good health and joy and cheerfulness. So we should actually consume sattvic foods, and try to avoid the list of the food, these type foods which are mentioned here in the list. What is the prohibited food? uh, Three things are given here. Or what is the unwholesome food? So many a times we have this habit of cooking food in the morning, and we cook it at one time, and then we afterwards at in the afternoon or in the evening we heat it again and before consuming it. So food which is heated over and over again is actually prohibited in the text. Also, the food which is dry or excessively salty in nature or sour is prohibited. Overheating of the food decreases its nutritive quality. So, overheating is not recommended. The food which has excessive vegetables. No doubt, vegetables are very important for the digestion process. We get many kind of nutrients from the vegetables, but consuming excessive vegetables at one time is not recommended here. You can consume one vegetable at a time. After giving the list for prohibited foods, there is also the list given for the recommended foods which are prescribed for our regular intake. Uh, Wheat, rice, barley, and jawar are the cereals which should be consumed regularly. In the dairy products, you have to consume cow milk or the pure cow ghee, pure butter, and also sugar in your diet. Honey is also recommended, and the dry ginger. Dry ginger is the shunthi, which has a very good medicinal properties. It also improves the process of digestion. So it is recommended in a very small quantity in your diet. Vegetables are important part of the diet. So the vegetables which are available in the Indian market are the snake gourd or the lady finger. Drumsticks are recommended regularly. The French beans are also recommended. So the vegetables which are in the form of fruit of that plant are recommended instead of the leafy vegetables in the Indian diet. This along with this, the water should be properly boiled, and it should be reduced to half, or it should be reduced to one fourth. After this only the water should be consumed for drinking. So there is this one more verse regarding the Mitahara. What is Mitahara? Uh, it is actually the food which gives us strength, not just fulls our abdomen. So the food should be strength giving for the growth of body. It should provide us proper nutrients for the growth and development of our body cells. It should be well sweetened and lubricated. Some amount of sweet is necessary. Sweet does not literally mean you should every day eat dairy products, but wheat or the rice are sweet in nature. That these should be included in your diet. It should be well lubricated with the cow ghee. Cow ghee is very much important uh, for maintenance of the strength. Then our food or our diet should include fresh cow milk, and this type of food, it strengthens our dhatus, or mitahar should strengthen our dhatus or the deeper tissues so that our body remains strong. Uh, and the food which we eat, it should be dear to our heart. Many a times we can see that people are eating while watching TV, or while watching some kind of series, or while reading. So this is not recommended. You should first pray for a minute before eating food. You should concentrate on the diet which you are going to take, and you should your mind should be in that process of eating food, so that this type of food will increase the humor of the body. It will increase the strength, and you will get all the nutrients from that food, and it won't be harmful for your body. Now let us learn this beautiful concept of Yuktahara, which is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Atmasayam Yog, and the verse number is 17. I'll just read this verse. Yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. The meaning of this verse is, what the person who is moderate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation, that person can reduce all the material pains by practicing the yoga system. So, Yukta Ahara, regulated eating habits. This Ahar is the food that we eat. It also includes the mental food, and the impressions that we draw through our sense organs. So this should be moderate. This food, mental food, as well as the food for to fill our abdomen, it should be regulated and it should be moderate. Yukta vihara. Vihar are the daily routines or the daily regime. It means it includes the behavior or walking, so it should be regulated. The next thing is yukta cheshtasya, regulated movements or the regulated actions. So this cheshta should be moderate, like there these should be performed with ease. Over exertion is also not recommended here. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Karma are the actions. The actions should be also moderate in nature. Workaholic is also not recommended, and not doing any work is also not recommended. So the actions should be also yukta in nature. And yukta swapna avabodhasya means the sleep is moderate and the wakefulness is also moderate. This person will only overcome all the worldly pains by practicing the yoga. So you have to, if you want to attain certain level, you have to practice the mitahara and the yuktahara concept and the sattvic diet concept, and then you can see the beauty which we can achieve in the yoga. So I think I have explained all the points. I hope you have understood it. You can contact me for any queries. Try to read everything from the textbook, and you can also take down your own notes. I have given my mobile number here. So all the best for your further studies, and thank you.